this is Allison Sullivan, and this is your video for the Stamp of the Month Club for October 2012 using the French Foliage stamp set. This is the first card I'm going to show you, and it's got this really cool masking technique. Really simple to do, but really effective too. So let's get started. I'm going to start with a piece of very vanilla cardstock, and I've also cut out a frame out of cardstock using the window framelets. I want to position this so that it is about an inch from the bottom, and I've got a little bit of repositionable tape on here just so this won't move around. To create the frame, I want to use 3 different colors. I'm going to start with the lightest color first, which is Daffodil Delight, and a sponge dauber. And all I'm going to do is just rub some color on the inside of my frame. I always want to start with the lightest color, and then the next color is more mustard, and I'm going to go overlap this daffodil a little bit. You can use a sponge too. I just like using daubers. And then the last color I'm going to use is the strongest, and it's Cajun Craze. And I'm going to go right to the edge with this one because this is what's going to make my framed mask here. So then just go in and fill in the spaces. And when I'm done that, I sometimes just go back in and add a little bit more color just to soften it up in areas. So that's basically how to make the frame. The next thing I want to do is bring in my main color, which is Early Espresso, and my stamp set, which is your French Foliage. I'm going to pull a couple of the leaf images, and I'm going to ink them up and stamp so that part of it goes onto my little mask piece here and part of it goes right onto the card. Just like so. And I can add some leaves. And the last thing I wanted to add was I love this little splatter image. I think it's really cool, but I don't want to do it in the brown because I think it'll just blend in too much. So I'm going to bring back in the Cajun Craze. And you can see just by adding those little splatters, it just kind of finishes it off. When I finish doing all of that, I can now remove the mask, and this is what I'm left with. The next thing I want to do is to use the paper piercing pack, which matches, these match all those framelets. I'm going to just place my cardstock on my paper piercing mat and then line up my template over top. I want to go outside of the template, so I am going to go around the outside. Okay, and then when you finish that and you remove it, you have the paper piercing around your image perfectly. Next thing I want to do is add some color to the outside of my card. I think this is too stark, just leaving it this very vanilla color. So just go all the way around. So when you've done that, that's what that looks like. I need to add some sort of saying here, and one of my favorite stamp sets is this Teeny Tiny Wishes. It has 28 different sayings that cover everything you can imagine: birthdays, graduation, retirement, sympathy, everything. And what I really like about them is that they fit perfectly in the word window punch, so really easy to punch out. I'm going to choose Happy Thanksgiving, and so I want to stamp this. You could use the espresso, but I'm going to use the Cajun because I think it's just a little bit softer. And you just line it up inside the word window punch perfectly like that. Punch it out, and I've pre-punched using the modern label punch a little layer just for my word to go on. So there it is with the sentiment. And then I thought this space looked a little plain, so I've got the buttons, the designer brushed bronze buttons. These are really nice nice and big and just looks so much like Thanksgiving. And let's just dress it up with a little bit of linen thread. So here's our little button with the thread, and I'm just going to attach that to my card with a glue dot. And now we can put our card together. And there we have the finished card. So simple, but really effective. Here's another card using the exact same technique. Instead of using a framelit for the mask, I just cut a rectangle out of a piece of cardstock and laid it on top, just like I did with the first card. And then I've just sponged it with Old Olive. And I've used Stays On because I really like the richness of the black. And again, this is another Thanksgiving card. So I hope you give this technique a try and enjoy making the card in your stamp of the month for this month. Happy stamping!
Hey, if you wanna play, make it about a place. It'll take creation, imagination. Try to draw outside the line.